Sylvia O'Keefe builds sets for independent movies and plays. She earns $12.80 an hour. Last week, she worked 36 hours, and her straight time pay for last week was how much? Okay, so since she just has straight time pay, all we have to do is take her hourly pay, multiply that by the number of hours, and that will give us her total pay. So we know that she is paid $12.80 an hour. We multiply that by the 36 hours, and that gives us $460.80. So her straight time pay is $460.80. On this one, it says a mobile auto detailing company pays you $10.25 an hour. Last summer, you worked 32.25 hours a week. What was your straight time pay for 2 weeks? Okay, so first of all, we know it's straight time pay. So we know that all we have to do to find your weekly pay, since this is telling us how many hours a week, is to take the hourly pay times the number of hours. We know you're paid $10.25 an hour and that you worked 32.25 hours each week. So we're going to take 10.25 times 32.25 and we get $330.56 approximately. We had to round to the nearest penny there. But they want to know what was the straight time pay for 2 weeks. Notice this was just for 1 week. We need for 2 weeks. So we're going to go ahead and multiply that pay for 1 week by 2, and that will give us the pay for 2 weeks. And when we do that, we get $661.12. All right, here's another pay example. It says Dee Dee Katz, a computer programmer, earns a regular hourly rate of $32.25, and she gets time and a half when she works overtime. In a typical week, she works 40 regular hours, for the first 40 hours are regular, and 8 hours of overtime. Find Dee Dee's weekly overtime pay. And it says, hint, this is not the total weekly pay. So they don't want her total pay for the week. All they want to know is how much she makes for those overtime hours. So she only had 8 overtime hours. The other was just regular hours, so it was regular pay. The first thing we want to do is find out what her rate is for overtime. We're told she gets paid time and a half for overtime. So that's 1.5. 0.5 is a half, 1.5 times her regular rate. So we're going to take 1.5 times her regular rate, and that will tell us how much she gets paid every hour of overtime. So we take 1.5 times $32.25. That will tell us what she gets paid for these overtime hours for each hour. We still haven't found the answer, the final answer, but we're on our way there. So if we multiply that, we find that she gets paid $48.38 about. Again, we rounded up to the nearest cent. Okay, and now we need to go back and see what we need to answer once again, just to make sure we're on the right track. So it wanted to know her overtime pay. Well, we know she works 8 hours of overtime, and we now know that her rate for overtime hours is $48.38. So we're going to take her overtime rate times the number of overtime hours, and that gives us $48.38 times 8 hours, and I get $387.04. So her total overtime pay for the week was $387.04. She still has her regular pay as well, so she's not doing too bad. Rick James is paid $14 an hour as a pastry chef for a regular 33-hour week. Okay, so he's paid $14 an hour for a 33-hour week. His overtime rate is 1.5 times his regular hourly rate, and this week he worked his regular 33 hours plus 6 overtime hours. What is his overtime pay? So this is similar to the last one. They did give us information about his regular pay and his regular hours, but all they want to know is what is he being paid for the overtime. All right, so first we need to find out what his overtime rate is. So we take the regular rate that he's paid for regular hours times, he gets paid time and a half, or 1.5. So his regular rate, we see here, was $14 an hour times 1.5. And we get $21 an hour. Okay, so this is his overtime rate. Now we can use that to find his overtime pay. So we're going to take his overtime rate, I'm going to call it OT rate. We're going to multiply that by his number of overtime hours, and that will give us what we need. We know his overtime rate is $21. We just found that. We're going to multiply that by the number of overtime hours he worked, which they tell us is 6, and we'll have our answer. His overtime pay is $126.